The average Brawlhalla player is lost, fam. He got no idea how to practice or improve at this dumbass 2G game. He does it all wrong and then wonders why he's stuck in gold for the past 700 fucking season or some shit, right? But what's very interesting is that pro players, bro, they didn't start at the top. Did you know that? They had to climb all the way from the bottom just like anyone else, and so with enough practice they now understand exactly what it takes to get to that point. And if you do the same things as them with enough time, you should be able to get the same results as well. I was so shit at this game for so long, so terrible to the point where one of my friends literally said to me, Xenix, you play the most, yet you're still the worst. Why don't you just delete the fucking game, fam? I mean, at the time it was just a joke, right? We were laughing about it and shit, but it fucking hurts because it was so true. Imagine if you were in that same position as me, right? Imagine literally putting in hours and hours into practice and you're still fucking shit. Like, what? That doesn't make any fucking sense. It's supposed to be the other way around, doesn't it? At the time I didn't care about what to do. Just tell me the actions that will help me to improve and I will do it. I don't care what it is. The only thing that was lacking for me back then, the only one thing, and it's probably the same thing here for you, right, which is the knowledge and the guidance needed to reach the goals, right? I had a lot of questions that I wanted to ask pro players, for example, to help me improve, right? But I got zero answers because well, I had no contacts with pros since I was fucking gold. Like, how the fuck do you even get to talk to a pro, right? And so today I got 4 of the best players in the entire world to answer these questions for you, okay? So that you don't have to go through the same struggles as me. And these are the type of guys you improve literally just by watching their gameplays. Like, you will inevitably improve without even changing anything. Just watching their gameplay, you will get better and see results. So go and check their socials for that. It's gonna be on screen and in the description as well. It will help you quite a lot. And if you want this video to help you even more, then make sure to take notes and actually implement the things that we're about to discuss, okay? Because I wish someone were to tell me these things when I was struggling, man. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Yo, what's good, bro?
What up, man?
What's up?
Yo, how are you?
Yeah, let's start, man. So my first question that I have for you is that what do you consider is the most important actions that can lead to like the biggest improvements, right? If you want to get better at the game or like you want to compete or something, do you have like one thing or like multiple things that you would recommend that have the highest like return, you know?
I think consciously trying to focus on the biggest mistake you're making at a time that will impact your improvement as much as possible. So at every level, if you can kind of find that like one solution, the biggest problem you're facing, then you find the solution to that problem and you focus on it, then you're going to improve as fast as possible.
My first thing that I recommend the most is play with tournaments in mind. So don't practice a gimmicky play style. Like don't practice like spamming nicks, guns, and sig off stage to try to cheese kills off stage. Don't try to practice like sig spamming, like spamming a really good sig. None of that is gonna work in tournament. And lastly, just make sure you're in the right mental and headspace. Like, we're not playing an actual sport, but still you want to eat, like, make sure you eat something light before the tournament. Make sure you're like drinking water and stuff.
I think the biggest improvement for me was starting to play community tournaments, honestly. Community tournaments was where it was at for sure.
To improve, what I did back in the day is just ranked once. That's all I did.
Alright.
And currently in this patch, at least, the best thing to like change and like improve on, in my opinion, other than like your mental, is your movement.
What are the things that separate pros and like any high elo players, like top players in general, from the rest, like from the average? What are they doing differently?
Pros are definitely thinking about the game. They're thinking about the game, and they're thinking about it differently. Like, pros, they don't take everything that you see in the game at face value. So definitely you have to look deeper into the gameplay. A 1v1 example I could use probably is like use versus kinda. People, I remember looking in chat and people are like, why is kinda not swapping? Because I like watched it back. People are like, why is kinda not swapping? Yo, use is doing this and use is doing that, but that's not what really is happening. And like, maybe it's not as simple as just swapping.
They take the game like more seriously, you'd say?
Yes, yeah, and they're also open to like, they like to think outside the box. Like, they're more open to some things being true.
Mental, the options in like, how should I word this, in like critical situations, like for example last stock red, whatever.
Oh, like decision making.
Yeah, decision making and knowing when to like throw out the right move.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's mostly it.
I think the biggest factor is mindset for sure. They have a lot of ego. They want to compete so bad, and they can't handle losing to someone else. When they lose, they get angry. They're like, "How did I lose? I need to beat them." It's a big mindset difference, in my opinion. That's the
Okay.
biggest difference by far.
That yeah, like I keep saying, it's finding solutions to your problems, but really it's like your movement. You can tell instantly if someone's a top player or not from how they position themselves. The positioning kind of enables you to hit more punishes, and it's just so game changing. So that's like the biggest thing. Then the decision making of like if you can or can't punish something in tandem with the movement. Players who are plat and low diamond will like think that they can punish stuff that they can't, so they'll like get baited easily, or just like it's the wrong solutions. Like at the end of the day, how I see Brawlhalla is you can program yourself kind of like a bot, where in programming there's if statements, and Brawlhalla is just fast-paced decision making. So we can find a solution to all our problems, then we just need to follow that if statement. Like if this happens, then do this. And players who are plat and diamond, they just don't really know that strategy. They don't know what to do in some ifs.
Right. So, do you think anyone can go pro if you put in enough hours and like practice with like intention to become better, or is it more than just how much you practice? So, for example, like maybe like age is related, or like genetics, like fucking like your speed, how fast you are, you know, like your
Yeah.
reaction and shit, or is it just purely on how much you practice?
Genetics are not related to Brawlhalla at all. I see like reaction time is genetic, I suppose. But the thing is, like, you can train your reaction time in the game at least. Like your actual reaction time won't improve. Like I did a reaction time test, and it's like my reaction time I was like 190 or something. Whereas in Brawlhalla, I react to a bunch of dodges really quickly. So really, like over time, you'll get used to reacting to dodges. I actually think age can play a factor. But really off the basis that people who are younger are more immature, like maturity can affect it, so I guess age can affect it. But really it's just practice. If you put in 100 hours in 2 weeks into a game consistently,
You'll see results.
you will see results for sure, especially if you're practicing with the intent of improving. Like you're getting coaching, watching Stingray videos, watching tournament VODs, like picking up on what the pros do.
Yeah.
And like I said, like you're not practicing, like you're playing for tournaments, like you're not practicing that gimmicky play style. I for sure think anyone can go pro.
I think it's a mix of talent and hard work, obviously. The thing is, some people just get it and others just don't. A lot of people, when I say talent, I mean you have the right mindset.
Yeah.
You actually use your brain, try and figure out how to win. That's talent. A lot of people don't really, they just play the game and then, oh, I lost, oh, I won, never thinking about what actually happened during the game. How did they lose? What happened? Like, how did they even win? Like, what is causing this? What is causing that? How can they punish? How can they play this better, that better?
I think talent plays a good part in it. I feel like you have to be talented. Of course, there are like some exceptions. I've heard something about like Noel. Apparently, like he was not very talented, but like he played the game a lot and finally like mastered it. I don't know if that's true, by the way. That's just what I heard. In my opinion, talent plays a role. Age, I think, also plays a role for some reason, because like you don't really see like many pros over like the age of like 22, you can say.
Yeah.
And most of us just like started like getting better during teenage times, like 14 to 16.
Okay.
Currently, it's like the average is turning to like 18. Most like good players are like 18 now.
So
Yeah.
that's like so it only matters for pro levels, right? It doesn't matter right before that, below that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there are like some situations where like you actually can't go pro in terms of things you're born with or whatever. Like if you can't hold a controller, it's kind of tough. But if you can play the game and you're an average human being, like you don't have external health conditions that will impact how you play, then anyone can go pro. Everyone starts, I think, in an equal position. I think it's very rare for someone to get born with a faster reaction time. Anyone can go pro with the right mindset, but starting early is really important.
how much do you grind the game, and like what does it take to get to that point? Like how hard is it, you know?
It's pretty hard to get to the point that I'm at now, but like once you're at that point, maintaining it is easy. But recently I've been playing the game a lot more. In the past 2 weeks, I think I have like 100 hours, which is the most I've had in years, to be honest. Prior to that, I was clocking in like 30 hours past 2 weeks average. But prior to that, I was probably clocking in like 100 plus every 2 weeks.
Yo, that's crazy.
So yes.
Back when I was like actually grinding, during the time I was getting better, it used to be 100 hours past 2 weeks, which like for example, currently I'm sitting on like 40 hours past 2 weeks. Blaze, for example, has like 30, I'd say 20 to 30. Neezy has like 10. We did our time. We're just like chilling right now. Like we're still good at the game.
So like most of you like just have a period where you grind a lot, but then you kind
yeah,
of
like
slow down.
when you're like improving, you want to play the game more too, because you notice your improvement. You want to see more improvement, so you just keep on playing and playing. And you just get like better by time.
It all depends on how optimally you improve, like how fast are you at improving. If you're someone new that wants to go pro, then I don't think you need to play these absurd numbers that don't make sense. Like playing more than 2 hours a day is probably not going to do anything. But it's all about consistency. So if you're playing an hour or 2 hours, 5 days a week consistently and having fun with the game and focus on improving, then that would be the best.
My honest opinion, it is extremely easy to compete at the pro level. Extremely easy.
Actually,
like, I think so for sure. Once you realize how bad some of these pros are, dude, these guys don't really know what they're doing. Okay, of course they know kind of what they're doing, but they're still figuring the game out. It's not like they solve Brawlhalla. They're not as good as you think. They make a lot of mistakes. They don't know how to play neutral sometimes. They don't know how to play advantage state. I don't think it's very difficult. If the pro scene was really this good, then Godly wouldn't dominate everyone every single time in EU. Or you wouldn't see Yuzen kind of completely obliterate everyone else in their region. If pro play is really that like good with no mistakes and they're so... I mean, we make mistakes all the time. Like, it's... I feel like once you start realizing that, it gets really easy.
Okay. How did you know that you can go pro, and like what was the turning point or like the sign that gave you this idea of, okay, I can actually do it?
That's a good question actually. So back in the day, since everybody was playing on 60 hertz, it was quite like challenging to hit high elo, because back then like 2700 was like the peak, you know?
Yeah.
And I managed to hit like 2650 on 60 hertz.
That's crazy.
And yeah, I was like, alright, let's try getting a 144 hertz. So I got one for Christmas, and that was like the turning point.
Oh, so it was the monitor actually.
Yeah,
Alright.
because like that thing boosts you like crazy.
For winters, I decided, you know what? Let me try and grind. Let me try to play the game more. Let me play more community tournaments. After every tourney, like I improved one thing at a time, and it slowly stacked up. But I just really did not know how to play consistent at the time. Then I started learning the game again, like properly, how to play consistently, and then I managed to get 5th, like the pro level, then 9th at BCX. It's a tough switch, but I feel like the biggest switch or the biggest factor is getting confidence, in my opinion. If you think that pros don't do mistakes and you can't punish them, or oh my god, I'm just trying to survive against them, then you're gonna be stuck at being a ranked demon forever.
I like worked a ton. I went in training room for an hour a day for like every day straight for a month, and then at the time where I just wanted to top 8, and I think that kind of clicked for me once I went to LAN. Like I went to Shine 2017, and then being in person and beating people who are considered pros is when I'm like, okay, I can actually go pro.
So when I was 13, I got drafted into Pro Series, and that was like kind of the turning point for me. Like when I got drafted into Pro Series, I was like, wow, because it's called Pro Series. So in my head, I'm like, okay, the pros actually think I'm like good enough to be on their team and like be a factor in helping them win. But even prior to that, I was friends with a lot of top players. Like I was friends with like Stingray and like Pierre and Hardy MJ. And like whenever I would play with them, they would always tell me that like I could do it. They would tell me like you know, I'm better than this guy, I'm better than this guy. I just have to actually like get serious because you know, like I said, I was still like 12, 13 at the time. I was just like immature, not really doing everything that I could to maximize my potential.
Yeah. So when you got like everything together, like
Yeah, once I got everything together, like I was getting serious about tournaments. Like I wasn't letting myself get too emotional during tournaments. And I was like really perfecting like my cannon gameplay. That's when I realized I was like, okay, I can do it.
what's the thing that held you back the most from improving? And then you saw like significant change when you got rid of it. Was it actually like the monitor once again?
Yeah, yeah. For me personally, it was the monitor because yeah, back as I said, just back in the day, nobody used to be on something more than 60 hertz except like the actual pros.
Yeah.
Like every other semi-pro was stuck on 60. We didn't know how badly it was gonna like affect us.
Okay.
Definitely my anger. Like I would just get angry really easily and that would affect my gameplay. And also I guess what I got rid of was my lack of game knowledge. Like there was one point in time where like I only knew how to play scythe and cannon, and then I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even know how to play sword, right? So I was like, wait a minute, let me take a step back and figure out how to play all these weapons. And once I figured out how to play all the weapons, like I figured out pretty much how to like freestyle on them and like do whatever I wanted. And then that was like when my game knowledge increased and I noticed like a huge improvement in my gameplay.
My thing probably was confidence. Probably. As soon as I got that confidence and realized, wait, these pros are beatable, let me find a way how to beat them, that's when I started improving the most.
I think it's something I still struggle with. And I think it's something older players struggle with. The game is constantly changing and being updated, which is very unlike any other real sport. So a lot of my habits are from when I first went pro, or from 2018, or even 2020, or even 2022. And every year or two, the meta is changing, how players move optimally, it's changing. So that's kind of like the hardest part, is changing how you play.
Why is the difference between pros and Valhallans is so huge? Because I remember sometimes, yeah, like I watch you streaming, maybe Acno, maybe like Sandstorm, or whoever is it, right?
Yeah.
Some pro streaming, he queue like Valhallan like 2500, 2450, something like that, and he'd be like 2 stalking them, they'd be like 3 stalking them, they'd be trolling, and I'm looking, I'm like, bro, that guy, that 2500 guy, he's like better than 99% of players, yet the gap is still so huge between him and the pro. Like, why is the difference so big?
Yeah, so the thing with that, 2500 is still kind of just 2500. Now it's just it's had like the Valhallan border placed on it. But prior to that, top player would definitely destroy a 2500, and the reason for that is you can still reach 2500 by using gimmicky playstyles. Remember what I mentioned earlier, that gimmicky playstyles don't really work in tournament. So top players don't really use gimmicky playstyles that much, whereas let's say this person reached 2500 by maybe they're mashing Katars, or maybe they're parrying really hard, like running away the whole time, or maybe they're spamming a really broken sig, doing whatever. Maybe they're playing off stage only, right? So you can reach 2500 in a multitude of ways that wouldn't fly in tournament at the upper echelon. So, and usually the players who are using gimmick playstyles to reach that elo have really bad habits. For example, maybe they'll dodge in 99% of the time, or they'll dodge like a certain way 99% of the time.
Yeah, the skill gap is pretty huge, because even at the Valhallan level, these guys don't know what they're doing, like at all. They just kind of found a gimmick to, I don't know, get to that level. They kind of know what options to use, you know, but overall they really don't know what they're doing. Pro players know what mistakes you're doing and they actively punish them. Like Valhallans like don't really know how to like recognize mistakes and punish them. Pros will consistently punish you for making mistakes. Consistently. They know what mistakes you're doing and they will keep punishing them until you figure them out, until you change them. But I feel like the big difference between Valhallans and pros is that pros know how to consistently punish you for making mistakes.
Similar to what I said before in terms of if you find one problem that makes the biggest difference, the same thing applies to these players like Sandstorm and Paula, will notice like one big mistake, one crucial error that their opponent is making, and then they can capitalize as much as possible. Like if you're dodging down every time, you're gonna get 3-stocked. But every Katara's player that's a pro is going to 3-stock you if you dodge down, and the same thing happens with greatsword and a lot of other weapons. So it's crucial problems that the average 2500 still makes. Like let's say if it's a neutral movement and pressuring, like if someone who's 2500 is getting baited by one movement option every single time, then you're gonna keep doing that movement option and get destroyed.
So the reason for that is because the amount of like effort you used to put in, because most Valhallans can like easily get like to that elo range. Same with diamonds can also easily reach Valhallan, but like the skill difference can still be high. It's just like a number, you can say. Like it doesn't even matter at the end of the day anymore, for pros at least.
Now the final one here is that what would be your advice to someone who's average, like flat or gold or maybe low diamond, and they wanna get started, right? They wanna, okay, they're done, they wanna improve, and they don't know like where to start, right?
You have to manage your anger and also understand that there's a win to take from every loss. For example, maybe let's say like you're 2500 and you fought Sandstorm and you got 2-stocked. A win you can take is you took a stock. How did you take the stock? How did that stock get taken? How did you get a hit on this stock? There's something to take from each loss, and that was something that I learned when I was coming up. Like each loss, I was like, okay, what did I do good in this loss? And then I took what I did good from that loss and I just added it to the good that I was already doing, and I saw what I did bad. Like if you know what's good, then you know what's bad, right?
Yeah.
So I saw what I did bad, I removed that, and I took the good only, and then I carried that into my next game, and then you just repeat that process until you have a lot of good.
My advice is to get rid of the ranked anxiety, honestly. A lot of people are so scared to play ranked. For what? Just play ranked. When I was a player, I actually improved very quickly. Why? Because I only played ranked. I haven't touched experimental in the past 6 years. I made a habit out of making ranked something more casual for me. It doesn't matter if I want to have fun, if I want to play serious, if I don't know, want to play Brawl in the background. I want to play random characters, I want to play my main. I'm always gonna play ranked 1v1s. Because there is a certain, like minimum. There is a minimum elo that you can reach where you simply cannot lose anymore. You simply can't lose. No matter how bad you play, you can't lose. And that minimum gets raised as you start playing ranked more, as you start like getting used to that elo.
Yeah.
So that minimum will keep rising, but your maximum will also rise in the end.
Do you think anything else you can add, like that you think?
I just realized huge advice. A lot of people, this is really game changing for a lot of people. They think that they should attack where they think that their opponent's gonna be, instead of actually attacking where their opponent is. That is the biggest change I've had after BCX. A lot of the times I'm trying to go for reads.
Yeah.
Actually, matter of fact, every move I go for is a read. This only hits if my opponent is fast falling. This only hits if my opponent is jumping. This only hits if my opponent is moving the way I think he's going to move. However, a lot of the times, just attack where your opponent is actually located at. Because oftentimes, if they're not actively thinking about avoiding your move, they're not going to avoid it. Yeah. This is a big thing in neutral.
I mean, as I said before, personally, I think it's movement. Movement will change a lot. Like, for example, bronze to like platinum, you could say, you're still like, no, actually, bronze to like diamond, you're still learning the game.
Yeah.
You have a lot of things to learn. So, in my opinion, until then, you should just like learn the game fully, like properly, just by playing it more and understanding the basics. And then you can like properly like try to react pros and like try copying their stuff. But until then, it's just like the amount of hours you put into like learn what's happening in the game and stuff like that.
Okay. Improve, and they don't know like where to start, right? Would it be like the same thing that you said before, like start identifying like your mistakes? Is that it?
That's like one thing for sure. Like focus on your biggest mistake at a time. Like what's gonna try and find what, like at the end of the day, every time you get hit, there's a mistake. So it's the biggest reason why you're getting hit. And you can find a million reasons. You just got to find the one that you think is going to be easiest to solve and impact you the most. That's how you improve as fast as possible. But other than that, I would say like just stay consistent, be in an environment like watching until now. If this is in the video, then you're already doing the right thing. You're pretty deep in the Brawlhalla community and you care about what I have to say. So keep doing your thing, stay consistent. Consistency is most important, and yeah, stay hungry.
Yeah, this video took about 3 weeks to make. Yeah, so if you appreciate the effort I'm putting in here for you, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube algorithm nonsense, right? Share the video, fam. If you want personalized coaching from me, check the first link in the description, and I will personally help you. We're gonna hop on a call together and I will help you get your desired rank as fast as possible, okay? So yeah, see ya, man. Have a good one.